Hello there. I am Dr. Bree. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I specialize in pelvic health. And I can't wait to share this quick total body workout for pelvic strength. You're going to love it. Now, it is a floor-based mat workout. So if you have troubles with your knees or you don't want to get down on the floor for some reason, you might really like this new video I created that is a chair workout for pelvic strength. So that's an option for you. But if you're ready for the floor workout, let's get to it. All you'll need is a mat. This total body workout focuses on the pelvic powerhouse. It is an all levels workout and it's safe for all types of pelvic floor concerns, but everybody's different. So remember, always listen to your body and stop or modify if you feel any discomfort or pelvic floor symptoms. So you're going to begin with your legs straight out behind you, press your pubic bone down into the mat, and press your elbows toward the back of the room. Your hands are by your chest. You're simply going to lift your upper body and then lift your lower body. So alternating back and forth, gently lifting your upper body, pressing lightly into the ground with your hands, and then lifting your legs off the floor just a little bit. You do not have to lift far off the floor. To make this a total body workout, be sure that you're squeezing your elbows toward each other, your shoulder blades together, and your elbows are pointing toward the back of the room. Now you can keep doing just the way you were doing, or you can spread your arms out wide and lift a little bit higher with your upper body. Your legs will still lift. Your upper body lifts. Your fingertips are tented on the floor, alternating the upper body and the lower body, flowing back and forth and breathing. Make sure that your glutes are strong. You are pressing your pubic bone down into the floor. Really feel your middle back working as you press up and your lower body as you're down. Now, come back up gently with your upper body and just tap your feet together. Tap, 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 squeezing your bottom, squeezing your glutes, and really tapping those legs. Hold it and then release. Good. Relax, relax, relax. Take a big, deep breath, shake it out, and carefully come back onto your hands and knees. Now we're going to go into puppy pose. This is a really great stretch to release the shoulders and also release the pelvic floor, the glutes, the back. If you want to really stretch the shoulders, you can tent your fingertips, pressing your fingertips and lifting the heels of your hand off the mat like I'm showing here. Breathe deeply. I call this spider fingers, and it's a really great way to get a deep shoulder stretch. And of course, your low back and your glutes are being stretched as well, and your pelvic floor. Make sure in this puppy pose that your hips are over your knees. Now you're going to crawl your hands back, and we're going to go onto our hands and knees. You're going to begin with some hip mobility, but first let's stabilize our core. So lift your pelvic floor, gently squeeze and lift your pelvic floor and pull your low belly in. Keep your core strong as you flex your ankle, flex your foot, and you're just circling your hip. So feel like you're circling your knee and your foot 4 times in one direction and then reverse and go 4 times the other direction. The only thing moving is your leg. Try to keep your core strong and your upper body and trunk still. Now reach that leg, that left leg for me, reach it behind you and to the right side of your body and look toward that right side. It's a gentle stretch of your IT band, the outside of your hip. Sit back on your heels and just roll out your wrists. And we're going to go into some hip extensions. So again, core is super strong and you're reaching one leg back behind you. So for me, this is my left leg again. You are going to make sure your hips are square and facing toward the ground. So your pelvis is square and facing toward the ground. 8 times total, you lift up your leg, up and down, up and down. Slow and controlled. You want to make sure your low back is not arching, your core is strong and lifted. My hands are in fists, as you can see. Now we're going to do double pulses. So pulse, pulse, down. Pulse, pulse, down. When you come down, just lightly touch your toes toward the floor. They don't need to touch all the way. You really want to focus on that pulse, pulse. Lightly set it down. Pulse, pulse. Now we're going into a donkey kick. So flex your ankle and you're coming down onto your elbows and just pulse that foot toward the ceiling. Lift and lift. Your core is still super strong. Everything is strong and stable, and now pulse those donkey kicks toward the ceiling. It's like you're pressing your foot into the ceiling above you. Now straighten that leg out, come back onto your hands, and one more stretch to the side. So your left leg is going toward the right side of your mat, and just play around in this. Feel how that stretches the outside of your left hip, looking toward your right. And now cross the left leg behind your right. It's like you're trying to squeeze out any little drops of air between your left and your right knees. So your left leg is behind, and begin just by pulsing back as I'm showing. This may be enough for you to really feel that stretch. Try to reach your sitting bones back behind you. And if you want more, if you are flexible enough for this, you can sit all the way onto your bottom with the legs crossed as shown in these two different views. So maybe the top knee is up high, or maybe the top knee is stacked directly over the bottom knee. But either way, your right leg is crossed over your left. Your right leg is crossed over your left. And again, just do what you can. You want your sitting bones to be grounded on the ground beneath you, feeling this stretch. Or if this is too much, then just keep doing that rock back that we showed at the beginning. One more deep breath in this pose. And then you're going to unwind your legs, that deep hip stretch, and we're going to go back into a stabilizing exercise. So pelvic floor is engaged, core is lifted toward your spine, and we're doing those hip circles. So flex your right ankle and circle your right knee 4 times in one direction, and then 4 times in the other direction. The only thing moving is your leg. So 4 times in each direction, you're circling the hip. Your core is strong. Now reach that leg behind you and just a little quick stretch. Your right leg is now crossing to the left side of your mat. So you're just reaching that, feeling a stretch in the right outer hip. Looking at that foot, and roll out your wrists. Shake them out, magic hands, sparkle fingers, have fun with it. Want to always take care of our wrists in this practice. Now, if you want, you can always be in fists instead of on your hands for this next exercise. Engage your core. Your pelvic floor is lifted, your low abs pulled in, and now you're going to reach your right leg behind you, keeping your back straight like a tabletop. Don't let your low back arch. Your hips are square, pointed toward the ground. Take a peek and make sure your hips really are pointing toward the ground evenly. And lift and lower that right leg now. Just 8 times, up and down, up and down. Either lightly touching the floor with your toes or just hovering above the floor with your toes. Now you're going to do the double pulses. So pulse, pulse on the up, and then lightly touch down. Pulse, pulse, and lightly touch down. Pulse, pulse, lightly touch. Or you don't have to touch. You can just hover your toes above the ground. You're almost done with these double pulses. Now come down onto your elbows. And you're going to flex your ankle and donkey kick up toward the ceiling, really isolating this to your butt cheek, to your glute on that right side. So it's like you're trying to kick the ceiling with your foot, really reaching up. And now we're going to pulse. So keep the leg lifted and high as you donkey kick toward the ceiling. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And now straighten the leg And you can come up onto your hands and again, reach that right leg toward the left side of your mat and look at the foot. Look at it, really feeling the stretch in the right outer hip. Looking at the foot. Now we're crossing into that cross-legged stretch. So your right leg is directly behind your left. You are trying to squeeze out all the air between your knees and just rock back. This is enough. Rock and breathe, exhaling as you rock back. This may be enough to just do the rock backs, but if you want the full stretch, you're going to sit on the ground or on a yoga block. And your left leg is now on top of your right leg. This is a deep, deep stretch. If this is too much with your left leg on top of your right leg, then remember, you can just keep doing those rock backs that we were doing before we sat all the way down. Do what works for you. Try to keep your spine nice and tall and lifted. Don't round or hunch. Stay tall and lifted. Sitting bones are grounded evenly, and you are breathing. Your top knee can be higher. It doesn't have to be directly on top of the bottom. And then uncross your legs and roll out your hips. Just a few booty circles, circling it out. Do a full body circle like you're drawing a circle on the ground beneath you now. That one feels really, really nice. And now you are going to engage your core again. So pelvic floor is lifted, low abs pulled in. Let's bring left leg back and right arm forward. Hold the left leg back and the right arm forward, just holding it steady in this bird dog position. Core is strong and you are breathing. Now bring your right hand to your left shoulder. And you are going to, with a strong, strong core, exhale and bring the right elbow toward your left knee. So inhale as you extend, exhale as you curl inward. Inhale as you extend, exhale as you curl inward. And really make sure you are pulling the pelvic floor in and up and the low belly in and up as you curl, touching that elbow toward your knee. Just a couple more and then we're going to pulse it. So pulse, keeping that lifted pelvic floor, low abs pulled in and breathing as you pulse, elbow toward knee, and now extend and release. Whew, that was wonderful. Hands and fists with the thumbs pointing forward and your palms are facing toward each other. These are just little push-ups, little elbow bends. Bend your elbows and then press up with an exhale. Bend your elbows and press up with an exhale. Core is strong. You are in a hips up position, so it's not a full push-up. It's a modified push-up. And now roll out your hands, roll out your wrists, shake it out. Magic fingers. Nice job. We're going to do that set again. So core is strong and lifted. Pelvic floor lifted, low abs pulled in, back is straight like a tabletop. Reach the right leg behind you and the left arm in front of you. And just hold. Core is strong. Make sure your hips are square, facing toward the ground. If you need to peek and look down and make sure that they're square, that's fine. Now bring that left hand toward your right shoulder. And as you exhale, pull the lower belly in and up as you bring the left elbow toward the right knee. Exhale and pull that left elbow toward the right knee right now. Yes, inhale as you extend, exhale as the knee and the elbow come together. And get ready to hold it and pulse, really pulling that low belly in and up toward your spine as you breathe and pulse the elbow toward the knee and then release back. Great job. Now, your palms, your fists face each other, your thumbs faced forward, and we're just doing 4 push-ups this time. So just a few more in a modified push-up. It's not a full push-up. Great job. Roll out your wrists, shake out your hands. Magic fingers up and down. I love to kind of sparkle my fingers. It releases everything. Now, feet together, knees apart. we're going to come into a hover. This is a strong, powerful exercise for your thighs and your pelvic floor. So you're going to lift and hover your hips above your heels. And now tilt your pelvis forward and back. You're hovering your hips above your heels. And you are exhaling as you scoop your belly inward. So exhale as you scoop your belly in and lift your pubic bone forward. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and then come all the way up on an exhale. Great. In this high kneeling position here, you are going to do a modified crunch. So it's not a crunch laying down on the floor, it's a crunch where you're kneeling. And what you're going to do is really lift your pelvic floor and pull your low belly in as you exhale and crunch. So again, lifting the pelvic floor, pulling that low belly inward as you exhale and crunch. Pelvic floor lifts, low belly pulls in as you exhale and crunch. Keep going. Almost done. Make sure you're really active through the core, exhaling as you crunch. Roll out those shoulders. And we're going to cross the feet and come into a seated position. We're going to end with our gas pedal pushes. Your hands are behind you. Your spine is long. Do not hunch or round your back. Really lift your heart toward the ceiling. And you can tent your fingers or have your hands flat on the ground. Just make sure you're zipped up through your core. Pelvic floor is lifted, low abs pulled in. Flex your ankle and press your heel like you're pushing on a gas pedal. Keep your core strong and breathe. Do not hold your breath. Do not let your low belly pooch up. Keep everything pulled in your core. Strong and lifted through your core as you press your heel forward and breathe. Now switch to the other side. Keep your core strong and lifted the entire time as you breathe. Pelvic floor is lifted, low abs are pulled in. You are breathing as you keep your core strong and you're pressing your heel like you're pushing on a gas pedal. This is working the triceps, it's working the core, and it's working the legs. Nice job. Shake out the upper body, roll out your chest a few times, circle your heart on the floor, above the floor. And then we're going to come into our final pose, which is either hips up time, which you can see in the inset picture. This is a really nice way to end any practice. You just put a yoga block or a cushion under the back of your pelvis and rest. If you want to join me in the prone butterfly stretch, you're on your belly and your knees are apart and your feet are together. So either way, whatever you prefer. But it's very important to end this practice with a significant period of relaxation for your whole body and a release of your pelvic floor. So no matter what you're doing, just relax and breathe. Muscles are no longer contracted, they are relaxed and open. If you're in the butterfly stretch on your belly, then you can also release your feet so they're not touching and just drop your feet to the right and to the left. So just dropping your feet side to side and breathing. If your head was turned to one side, make sure you switch and turn it the other direction so you get an even stretch in your neck. And then just bring your legs out behind you. And just release into this wide-legged stretch on your belly. Nice job. Thank you so much for watching this. If it was too fast for you, make sure to do this again. Practice makes perfect. It'll get easier every time as you get stronger. And again, always listen to your body. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter.